This prison had 1,000 guards, but only held one prisoner. Even so, this prisoner was still planning to escape. On the first day, he dug a hole and crawled into the sewer to get out, but the officer caught him. So the police locked him in a 1-meter thick, airtight iron cell. They even assigned an officer to watch him 24 hours a day to prevent any escape attempts. That day, Lupin jumped up to attack the surveillance camera. The guard monitoring the cameras quickly rushed to check the cell, but this was all part of Lupin's plan. However, the experienced officer still saw through his trick. This time, he disguised himself as a priest coming to pray for the criminal and escaped again, but the officer caught him once more. Since the prison's security measures were really not good enough, the police used over 100 locks to chain him up. Then they took him to a deserted island. There, the officer who had been chasing him his whole life was put in charge of guarding him. The officer took care of all of Lupin's daily meals. A year passed, and Lupin's friends didn't even think about rescuing him. Soon, Lupin had a mental breakdown. Without freedom, he would rather starve to death. He refused to eat and wouldn't even look when the officer brought him food. A month later, Lupin became skin and bones from malnutrition and collapsed unconscious. The officer panicked when he saw this. He grabbed his keys and rushed to open the door to save Lupin. He had chased this master thief his entire life and didn't want to see him die in such a humiliating way. But the next second, he stopped. The officer realized this might be another one of Lupin's tricks to get him to open the door so he could escape. After calming down, the officer was certain this was just another escape plan from Lupin. However, a few days later, Lupin really died. He actually starved to death in this prison. Seeing this, the officer could no longer control his emotions. He quickly opened the cell door, but just as he walked up to Lupin's body, he realized he had been fooled again. The body in front of him gradually stretched and became a flat image. It turned out Lupin had prepared this 3D painting for his escape long ago. He used leftover food as paint and his long hair as brushes. While the officer was sleeping, he painted an image of his own body from the window's perspective. Because once a prisoner dies, the cell door will definitely be opened. After explaining this plan to the officer, Lupin happily locked him in the prison. But the next second, the officer let out a twisted laugh. He was actually proud of Lupin. Only a Lupin who never gives up would be worth chasing for a lifetime. And Lupin returned to his hideout, declaring that the era of Lupin would never end.